Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm trying something different today. I finally got my microphone. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. It came today in the mail, so I hope this make the audio sound a little bit better. And hopefully, going forward, you guys can hear me clearly, and we'll have some fun with it. Anyway, today I'm gonna talk some news. I'm finally gonna do this podcast I talked about doing for a while, which is the Knicks and the Nets podcast. So it's some stuff I want to go over for the past couple of days. Give me a second. Let me fix this phone right quick. Now, I want to ask you guys about this rumor. There's a rumor going around that the Nets is interested in Mitchell Robinson. He will be a great asset for that team because his defensive presence. But can they steal him away from the Knicks? That remains to be seen. I was mulling over, like I said, that's just a rumor. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's a possibility. It's just something that they're talking about. Now, here's my ultimate question to you guys. If you lose Mitchell Robinson, is that pretty much, how can I put it, be a dagger for the Knicks as far as the defensive side of the ball and what he brings to the table? Does he make that much of an impact? Or can y'all do without him because of the type of roster you have? If, and that's a big if, he'll be a big addition to Brooklyn. I'm sorry, I keep saying New Jersey, Brooklyn. He'll be a hell of an asset for defensively. But do I feel that he can be the guy that still remains to be seen? Now, the Knicks, them losing somebody like Mitchell Robinson would not be a good look for them. That's just my honest opinion, guys. Doesn't look good. Because he was a heart and soul. He reminded me of the old days of the Charles Oakley era. The hustle, you know what I'm saying? The hustle, low, and respect. No pun intended, John Cena. So, you don't want to lose a guy like this, and I don't feel they should. But you know what? If one team lost, another team gained, he might be. Now, don't get me wrong. People probably think, well, what can he bring to the table in Brooklyn? The same thing. Hustle, loyal, and respect. He'll bring something that Brooklyn didn't have in years, and I think that's a good fit for them. Especially, but now they're rebuilding. But, either way, I'm dying to see what Brooklyn going to bring to the table this year. I might mess around and subscribe to that Gotham sports app. So just like watch them. Even I know it's kind of costly, but maybe for the basketball season, so I can see how well they do with this pick, with these draft picks I'm going to mention in a minute. So now, they was very busy draft day. Of course, you guys know in previous video that I did that they picked up Julius Randle, but they lost Nick Claxton to the Bulls. So Brooklyn, they had, let me see, give me a second, guys. I gotta look it up because I can't remember who they drafted. Okay, I think it's Markel Brown from the guard from Louisville. I watched the kid played a few times in Louisville, point guard. Boy's explosive. This guy has, how can I put it, superstar quality, I guess you could say. In the right offense, he could shine. He could shine. And in Brooklyn, he's going to have that opportunity. And I think that's the best thing for them, is to pick him up in draft day. Now, he got to get some run this year. They got to let him burn, let him run, do what he got to do, because I can see he's going to be an asset to that team in Brooklyn. Brooklyn definitely taking a step in the right direction with this pick, because they needed a point guard, and they got one. The boy is explosive. I think once he can hang up the NBA game, he's gonna make a lot of damage. He's gonna do a lot of damage, and I think that's what Brooklyn needs right now. He's a kid that everybody will come and see and watch him play. I'm more for whatever works in this aspect. But if it works, hey, by all means, do what you got to do. But I see him being that focus point of that offense. They're only going to get better. Now, the second pick in that first round, Joshua Jefferson, out of Iona State. He's a forward. Great basketball IQ. Him and Brown together is going to be a hell of a combination. I watched a little bit of him played in college too this year. And when I see him, I'm very impressed. How far he can go with the right offense too. With these two guys, with him and Brown together, it's going to make a dynamic duo in Brooklyn. Once they get to figure out what type of offense they want to run, how they're going to fix this, how they're going to figure out what's the next step. Now, here's the thing. I love watching these two teams. I do. Because I think they're going to show a lot this year. The Knicks want to defend their championship. Brooklyn wants to get into the playoffs and start making an impact. Which we know, you get a young team, a lot of times it takes a while. It's not going to happen like tomorrow. But just to see where they're going with it is very impressive for this Brooklyn squad. So, Brooklyn, to me, it was rumors circling around before. I don't know if you guys heard it or not. But if you didn't, then I'm the first one to tell you. It's rumor going around that New Jersey wanted the Nets back in New Jersey. And they was talking about it. So, apparently, from my understanding now, and like I said, it all could be alleged or take it with a grain of salt, whatever it is. Brooklyn basically said that, the Nets say they're happy in Brooklyn, and this is where they want to stay. Which I think is a better move for them. Maybe ticket sales are more. I don't know, in New York, they call it more than Jersey. Now, it's a different ball game, guys. It's a different ball game. I like what they're doing in Brooklyn. Get away from that old chemistry as, let's get superstars to come here. You had so many superstars came through here. Don't get me wrong, guys. A lot of superstars came through Brooklyn. One name that brings it to mind is you had Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. They tried, guys, but that didn't work to their benefit. They thought those two guys bring a championship. How often win a championship, a couple years prior, come here and they thought it was going to be the same result. That wasn't going to work. Then you had Kyrie, Durant, and Harden. Those big three in Brooklyn. And that didn't get them nowhere. So now, the idea here is to get away from what was working before. It wasn't working. So now, they're getting away from that, and now they're starting from scratch. Now they're getting players that can hold their own weight. That's a good move for them. That's a very good move. So as you see, as time go by with this podcast, because of the situation, I'm going to do something. I normally premiere it and air it on certain days, right? So this podcast will be aired every, give me a minute, I'm going through my notes again. Because this is, when this one's going to be aired, it's going to be it's going to be Wednesdays at 6 p.m. is going to drop on Wednesdays. But, due to the fact I'm doing this now, I'm going to drop this early so you guys can see it. You know what I mean? Real early, so you guys can have this podcast. So this way, this week, Wednesday won't air because it's going to air earlier than that. I'm going to drop it as soon as possible. Once I drop this video, what the case is, guys, next week, Wednesday, it'll be airing on Wednesdays at 6. But, just give, you guys a subscribe instead of y'all having to wait till it come. And since y'all been so generous and y'all been on the channel and subscribing to it, I figure that's a treat for you guys to give it to you a little bit early and just drop it and just take it from there. You guys get an idea of what we're going to be talking about. Now, back to the subject on hand with Brooklyn. They had to get away from that situation. Now they're looking at something a little different. And I'm happy they're doing that now because it's about time. Here's the thing, right? You a basketball fan, I'm a basketball fan. We see things all the time. And I can't wait for the season to start. Because the conversation we're gonna be having during the season between the Knicks and the Nets is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun because it's something different, you know. I could have did one podcast by itself, but I said I'll do both. Because you know both of them represent New York. Why not? So now I hope that we'll see some exciting basketball in Brooklyn, and I think it's about time for it. To watch the Nets gonna have a field day with these young talent. I want to see what they can do. And they drafted another player. I can't think on top of my head right now in the second round. He's a pretty good shooter too, I heard. So now that's gonna be another thing. How they're gonna merge all this with Porter and you know whoever else they got there now. And now Randall. This is gonna be a fun season for them. I hope these kids show that, you know, the level of basketball they can play like they did in college. Because it's their time to shine now. They have to. It's no getting around that. But it remains to be seen. We don't know what will occur, what will happen. Now, the question I had to say, right, in the beginning of the season, they talking about getting the Greek Freak to come to Brooklyn. I always said that wasn't going to be a good move because even though he'll be a star attraction in Brooklyn, but that's all he would have been. He would have been an all-star, yes. He would have been a star attraction, yes. He would be the reason why people have been paying their money in Brooklyn to come see, yes. Would he win a championship with that team? No. Not at all, not in Brooklyn. Because they would have gave up so much. And they would have been in the back of the line, and that would have been sad for a team like that. So I don't think they should get no superstars. I mean, if you want to get some free agents, you know, and can help your team, maybe a couple of vets that still can play, yes, I will go and do that because you got a young squad that can teach them things, you know what I mean? Or get average, go do like the Knicks did. Do the same system. Get players that people pretty much threw away, let's call a spade a spade, and look what they did in New York. This is what Brooklyn has to do as well. You get players that you know that's average players, you know, but they can come off the bench and put a spark on your team. You got to go out and get these guys. You don't need a superpower team to win a championship. All you need, if you get one superstar, two superstars, all you need really is a good role team, role players, and the team, and you're good. You're gonna win championships. That's just a known fact. They don't need to go out there and get nobody. Who else do you really get anyway? Don't bother. You already had the Durant era. That's done. Get somebody else. You know what I mean? I don't know who's on the free agent market. Probably next time we talk about the next podcast, I'll look it up and see who's out there at that time, free agency, and see who will fit better in Brooklyn. Whatever it works, it works. You know, and I don't think it's gonna work for them. You know, if they go out to get a big time free agent, it's not gonna work. Don't even try to waste your time going after somebody. Y'all got a new system, keep the new system going because that new system might pay off in the end when you might end up winning championships at some point in Brooklyn. You got to stick to what was going to work for you guys. You can't just change your plans up right away. Sometimes we have to do something different. Sometimes you have to go another route because what was originally working was not working. And that's just my opinion on that. And I'm just straightforward. I just don't like the way the teams, you know, try to... I don't think a championship team should have to have 5 all-stars. The big 3. Let's win a championship. It's not going. Sometimes it doesn't work. Plain this day, it doesn't work. I don't know why people think it works, but it doesn't. But I'm gonna tell you this much: I'm gonna get to know that Nets roster because I'm gonna look it up myself. And by the time the next podcast come, I can look and see what they have, and I can be able to give a better analysis and better breakdown of what I feel because I really don't know too much this season. Who they had on the roster other than Porter. And somebody, and I know his Claxton was there. I know Cameron was there, but they traded him, which was a mistake. I think the boy had the potential to be a superstar. That was a big mistake. But be that as it may, that's just the way it goes sometimes, guys. I mean, you just have to realize this is how the game is played, and so forth. Now, by that being said, let's switch over now to the Knicks. I was looking up this kid that they drafted in the second round, Tyler Nickel, who plays for Vanderbilt. 6'8", sharpshooter, and I think he averaged about 14 points a game. I watched a little bit of him too this year. Compared to that roster they have, he's a good fit for the Knicks. Because being a sharpshooter, and that was a steal for the Knicks. To have him on that team is going to benefit that squad. He's a sharpshooter, guys. That's the kind of guard they need, along with Bridges and Hart. Now, will he get playing time like that? That remains to be seen, because rookies sometimes hard to get on the spot on a team that has a nucleus. I think that's going to work out for them. He's going to show that he can do something once he gets the opportunity. I think that's what they need to do. If he can progress his game to the NBA level, he can be a big contributor to the Knicks. And I say that for a reason, because he's going to be that good. No matter how you look at it, he's going to be that good. So let's see. I mean, because I feel that he should be that kind of two guard that they need. You need somebody like him that's explosive. You need somebody like him that can shoot. Because with that Knicks squad, they need more shooters. Now, with that being said, how many members of that roster will be there next year? That's another thing I have to look up and see. Because I think all of them are signed, but I think it's made by 2 or 3 of them that's supposed to be active free agent. I think Mitchell's one of them, Mitchell Robinson. Like I said earlier, losing somebody like him who's been a hustle, saying, a loyal respect on your team, for him to get let go, whatever the case might be, I don't think that's a good move. I really don't, but sometimes these things happen. Now, they got another player on that bench. I don't know his name, but I think they drafted him last year or year for that, whatever the case is, and he's been riding the bench. Somebody say he plays just like Robinson. I don't know, but if that's the case, he's younger. Maybe he contribute more to the team. It could be a defensive guy that they need, and hey, then you're not really losing anything. But for right now, you're losing a lot with Mitchell Robinson leaving. I don't think it's a good move for him going, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. I mean, if you want him to go, then he's going, If you want to think you got faith in somebody else younger, then that's what it's going to be. Guys, you have to understand something. The team is going to go by whatever their needs are. And if they feel that the kid is younger and we feel he can fill in that void that Robinson did, or maybe give some extra that Robinson did, okay. Then I understand that move. Then that move makes sense to me. But to give somebody a chance that they really didn't play, and maybe that's what maybe they're trying. I don't know what the organization is trying to do, because like I said again, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I do the podcast. It's hard, guys. It's hard, and I can never predict that more for you guys. It's very hard to figure out what will work and what won't work, until you try it. New York has talent on their roster, so they got enough to go all the way. Question is, will they go all the way? Will they repeat? That's going to be the ultimate question right now, and that's a question that nobody can really answer, because we have to see where's this team at. But the way Brunson played this year, he became an all-star, and he's becoming a superstar in New York now, because his legacy is starting to build up. Even though he showed some signs in Dallas, but he's showing more signs in New York. So I hope for him, you're building a legacy now, that he do what he has to do, because here's the thing. I feel, right, he's starting to shine right now in New York. Cat, I'm not going to say that about Cat, because Cat was already an all-star before he got there. Cat was already becoming a star when he was in Minnesota. So I'm not going to throw Cat in the comments. We already know what he brings to the table. But there's knowing them two together and the players around them. Let me tell you some guys, that is the best option they have. And the way they built that team, that general manager got to get praise for that, because he built that team from basically a bunch of role players, a bunch of players that nobody else wanted. That's the way I look at it. They signed them. Now, a lot of you guys don't remember, Clarkson, Jordan, he was with the Lakers. The boy was a beast. When he was in LA, he played this game. I don't know what happened to him the last couple of years, but he's been playing this game. Now look at him now. He got a championship ring with the Knicks. And the other kid, I can't think of his name, they got the color hair. I don't know, but he came from San Antonio. But there's a few people out there that, you know, that got talent. There's a few people out there that has, you know, more role play. This is where the Knicks, what do you need to go look for? A sharpshooter in the draft. And that was a smart move. Because what else left for you to get? You already got enough role players. You got a nice roster of role players. Do you really need to go out there and get somebody else? At this point, probably not. But, hey, you never gonna have enough players. Guys, you never gonna have enough players. You can have more players. It's a possibility you can have more players. Like I said, guys, you know, it's crazy that the way things are set up, that a team like Knicks come along and win the championship and don't even have a bunch of stars. Only 2 all-stars, yes, but I'm saying, you know, like, they didn't need the big 3. They got the elite 11. Listen, that just is the way it goes, guys. I mean, you really have to watch the season to understand it and see where it's going. But overall, I think the Knicks going to be alright. The way the East is, they might repeat again. There's been my opinion that, you know, it was a long due for a championship. The celebration is going to be big. But what people have to understand, celebrations don't last long. Guys, y'all got a championship. Y'all celebrate. By the time we get to the fall, it's over. You get your rings in the fall, in the garden. Let's move forward now. Okay, we won a championship. That was nice. That was last year. Now let's focus on what's going to happen this year. Let's work on this year. Because this year is what really counts right now. You know, that last year was cool, but this year's season coming up, now we got to worry about winning the championship. Repeat, that's what we want, guys. What else can you really do? Because you can't harbor on that one championship. You got to move on. You know it's a special one, but you got to move on to something else now, because it's time for, you know, another run and try to get in the playoffs. Because if you focus too much on the championship, and hear me clearly, guys, if you harbor on that one championship we want to, I'm not saying knocking your celebration, but if you keep getting your head swelled on that one championship, before you know it, when you look at the playoffs again, guess what? You got eliminated. Guess what? You didn't make the playoffs and you won championship last year. So you don't want to focus too much on this one championship right now. If your goal is to win another one, focus on the second championship now. Forget about last year. Forget about this championship. Get your rings and put that behind. Now it's time to move forward. It's time to say, okay, let's go into the season now. Let's try to win our championship. Another one. Because if you harbor on that, I'm telling you right now, if you harbor on that one championship that you didn't win years, and you coming on natural high, but you get cocky arrogant, that's why the team's going to beat you. And that's something you don't want. And then the Knicks fans going to be pissed because this and that happened. You can't harbor over that. You got to move forward. Let's worry about the next season. But on this podcast, you know, I'm going to discuss a lot of things that's going on with the Knicks and the Nets. So it's like, I want to do more like that. I just came up with this concept. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be something different, guys. You guys are going to like it. You know, apparently I'm going to have people on me sooner or later, you know, not co-hosts, but people to interview. You know, common Knicks fans, you know, the fans that hear their perspective of the ball club, what they think their prediction this year be, and, you know, and we're going to talk. Now that I finally got this mic, I'm hoping that it's, you know, I'll sound a little bit better than before. You know, I still want to get another mic I'm looking for. So little by little, I'm trying to build it, guys. And trying to find the right spot, you know, to do the podcast. Got 2 offices I'm trying right now to see if it's gonna work. You know, but just space for me, you know, so I can do my podcast without interruption anyway. So I hope, you know, you guys, you know, tune in. Like I said, I thank you guys subscribing to the channel. You know, I'm just going to drop, you know, the video. Like I said, I was going to drop this on Wednesday, but I'm going to drop it, you know, earlier than that. So you guys got to be aware, look out for it. It's going to come out. You know, it's my way of saying thank you, you know, for watching the podcast. But overall, you know, I appreciate it. You know, I just appreciate it. Because it's not, it is easy work, guys, but then it's not. Because, you know, you have to study a lot, read a lot of stuff, you know, that you want to talk about. So, you know, you don't look like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about before you give your opinion. I have to look up stuff today. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I don't even remember. I seen a little bit of the draft, but I didn't watch all the way, so I had to go back and look and say, okay, now I remember the people they drafted. So it's just that talking about it, you know, with you guys is cool. You know what I mean? Once I get into the flow of it, it comes easy. The thing is, right, it's hard for some people to talk about basketball. It's hard for people to talk about, you know, off season, unless there's something going on with trades. So preparing yourself to, you know, to have a podcast sometimes is not easy as it looks. It's fun doing it, but it's not easy as it looks, because you got to think in your mind, okay, what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to say. So, like, people say, oh, they script things, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, because it's like acting. You got to read from the script. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Blah, blah. My biggest problem is I sound good, and I'm not knocking nobody who does it. That's good. Me, I'm more type of dude, I like to wing it and just go with the flow, because it becomes more natural when I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. You can see watching it that, okay, this guy's being honest. This guy's real. He's not, you know, I'm not going to say phony, but I'm saying he's real. He's telling it like it is. You know, this is why I'm trying to get, you know, do whatever I can on YouTube, and I'm starting to get more subscribers now. I'm trying to get more, you know, trying to build a channel, you know what I mean, and trying to help my family, and trying to help my friend that only, you know, that have their channel asked me to come on and do a podcast. That's why they gave me free reign to do whatever podcast I want. I know they're trying to get other people also, so it's gonna be filling up as the summer comes along. Hopefully by the summer or the winter, there should be more people doing other podcasts on the channel, and hopefully, you know, they'll bring something different to the table. So, you guys, you know, I appreciate the time you gave. You know, like I said, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. It shows YouTube that, you know, you guys like what we're doing here. You know, and that, to me, that'd be a very big help. And I appreciate it, you know, because I know it's not easy. And I'm trying to do podcasts, you know, I know you guys like to laugh and have some fun with it. You know, we're going to have some fun with it. You know, we're going to have some fun. And you're going to see me get a lot emotional a lot of times, because that's just the way I am. I'm passionate about certain things, you know. Sometimes, you know, it look like I go overboard, but I'm not, you know. But back to the thing, the subject on hand. Let's hope that Brooklyn can make some noise in the East. I'm not saying win a championship. I'm saying make some noise and show them that, we're the team of the future here. We're coming. You know, beware. Watch out. We the team that's gonna show you guys who we are. You know, and this is why I want you guys to keep an eye on Brooklyn with these young cats, because these cats can go. They're young, but they can go. So make sure you guys keep a close eye on this, because this season for the Nets, this season for the Knicks is going to be crazy. And I hope we see that they'll come out looking good this season. Hopefully Brooklyn can get into the playoffs. Or if not the playoffs, at least show that you guys got potential to make noise in the playoffs. You know, it's a regular season. Even if you don't make the playoffs, try to have a winning record. Even if you don't get in the 8th seed, try to get a winning record. So this way, you're going to step in the right direction. Instead of losing. Sorry, guys. Instead of losing, you know what I mean? So on that note, guys, I might wrap this up. look out for the video. I hope you guys have a good day. Please subscribe. And I'm out. Peace.